right, welcome back. So cleaned up the body, had to secure the ESC, had to fix a couple of things from the bash session. We're not done. We're going to get it out again. One more battery pack. We're going to hit a couple different spots today and see how this thing does. It is still a little windy. Body fared pretty well with the shoe goo and the drywall tape and the Gorilla tape. So we're going to continue to run it, and hopefully it'll keep surviving. Seems to be doing pretty good. The suspension settled by a ½ inch all the way around. Checked the data log. Temperature on the motor was about 140, and ESC temperature was about 160. Remember, I have game changer fans on the motor. I don't have them on this Mamba Monster X or this Mamba Monster 2. I don't have game changer fans on that yet. Hopefully I didn't let the ESC dry very long. I do have it on Velcro, but the bottom of this ESC is old and it didn't stick very well. So I added some, what do they call that? The gasket maker to the bottom of it to cushion it, and I secured it back onto the Velcro, but I didn't let it cure 24 hours like I normally do. So you can see somebody's added some wood and some bricks to this jump. So we're going to clear that stuff out. So this is another little jump section. Let off the trigger and nosedive. Picking up. Hopefully the GoPro's not too windy. To the Trench of Doom during all the rainstorm we had, you can see it's cut well into the mountain now. I don't think the RC will clear it anymore. Had to try the Great Wall of China right there. So I'm gonna get this thing back on the bench, and I'll show you what's going on. We'll be right back. We're still down. That's not even half trigger. Let's get this thing back to the bench, and I'll be right back with you guys. All right, back on the bench. We got the TEKNO. We got 3 versions of the Outcast. That's considered the Notorious 10th anniversary, and then the one I've been bashing for a couple years now. But we're going to take a close look at the TEKNO and see all the damage. And this is where videos don't always show what's going on. This thing was sent at a BMX track and rerun at some smaller jumps. But if you watch the first video, you'll see me constantly pushing on this, talking about this thing is settling. You can see it's leaning to one side. So we're going to take a look at that. We're going to see how the body fared. The body did, as you see, scratches everywhere, but that's what a basher body does. Roof sliders, you can see all the bolts took some damage. The back of the body, some damage, but because it's drywall taped, it's got the Gorilla Tape in it, and then drywall tape and shoe goo in the front. Nothing is cracked, nothing is broken from all the impacts. And that's why I shoe goo my bodies. But I'm gonna bring you guys down closer, so give me a second. All right, so first problem you can see right here, blowing out shock. Shock cap is come undone and all the fluid is exited. This is the left front, the side with the battery. You saw I changed the diff fluid. Yes, I had to tape up the battery because it's too close to these gears right here, and it rubbed on the positive on the first run. You can look right in here. Let me grab something. See all this? All this nastiness in here? That is diff fluid with dirt. I brake cleaned the diff when I put it together just to make sure it was nice and dry. And of course, it is leaking differential fluid. And that's where we come into talking about at what cost. Yes, it handled the jumps. Yes, it took it. It is a monster truck. But at what cost? Aluminum shock caps, people are telling me I need them. Metal diff cases, people are telling me I need them. These are $45 a piece, and I need 3. One for the center, one for rear, one for front, and it's all the same diff cup. If this one's leaking, imagine what's happening inside my differentials. This one I filled up and ran it in front of my house on some test runs and noticed that the front tires were ballooning too much, so we pulled it apart and all the diff fluid was gone. Went ahead and put 500K in there, which is, you know, almost like putty or gel, and packed it to where when I closed it up, it was, you know, nice and tight. Now I noticed that the differential is loosening up, front wheels are starting to balloon again, and I got differential fluid coming out of it. Did break one zip tie on this side, but that's to be expected. I've heated this. It's eventually not going to need the zip ties. The zip ties are just to stop on nose plants. When it grabs right here, I don't want it to rip the bumper down. So I run zip ties front and rear just to support this, to protect the bumper, to protect everything in the back, to protect everything in the front. This side, the right side, ripped off the zip tie. The left side popped the shock cap. And that's because the battery's mounted on this side. So, I'm not sure if the shock tower doesn't seem to be bent, but I'll take a look at it, make sure the standoff isn't bent. We'll take a look at that as well. For the most part, I mean, the thing continued to run. And then we come to the chassis. You can see it's starting to get scraped up, as it should, bashing on top of rocks. This is held in. This is the voltage regulator. It's held in just fine. Didn't take any impacts or break loose. I did have the ESC. You can see the shock where it blew out. So we're going to nut and bolt check the whole thing and get everything fixed. But that's what I'm talking about. At what cost are we going to bash this thing? Yes, it seems to take it. It's a blast. It'll handle it. But until you start doing all these upgrades, and this is a kit. And from my understanding, a kit's supposed to have the best of the best. It's supposed to come with all the stuff you need to run this. It's supposed to be showcasing what TEKNO has to offer. Does need some upgrades, you know, even in kit form. It's just, it's one of those things. So I'm just trying to show exactly what is going on with this. So these are my experiences. People could have other experiences. I do have a lot of money into this, and now I'll be putting more money into this. So at what point do I take this RC and say dollar for fun? I'm definitely gonna have to break out the pocketbook again, buy the aluminum shock caps, buy the center. You know, it's funny because this spur, even being plastic, is holding up. But people are telling me that I need the metal spur gear. People are telling me I need the metal diff cups, and I did look them up. They're $44.99. For each one, and there's 3 of them. So $150 plus tax, $180. You know, another couple $100 Plus I'll have to look for these shock caps because I can't have them blowing off. And I noticed that the TEKNO plastic is pretty soft, and I think that's why it survives. Now, these are 4S backflips. These are 6S backflips. There's a huge difference in size between these two. A lot of people were saying run the 6S backflips on here, but this is the reason I run the 4S backflips. Having all this weight hanging off this end is just going to cause these shocks and shock rod ends and control arms to have to carry more weight, and I just don't feel that the MT410 needs a 6S backflip tire. It just, the 4S works great, as you guys see. A lot of control. So that's where I'm at with it. I have said it is a 1/10 scale because that's what the box says. Box says that this is a 1/10 scale monster truck. So a monster truck in real life is not the same size as your personal car because it's a monster truck. So it's a bigger size. Now they're using a scale chassis is what they're calling it. And Arma calls this, I think, the A scale. But Deontay was comparing, this is the same size as an Outcast, and when you put them side by side, overall, they are the same length. But don't get it twisted. You know, these shock rod ends are not as thick. You can see the upper links and the, let me pop this body off. The upper links, a lot stronger on the Arma. The pivot ball setup, a lot stronger than bashing, than the C-hub style. You can see there's not really a side support like the Arma side support. $600 RC. You know, I'm $1,500 into this thing, and now gonna have to spend a few $100 more. Bumper, don't look at the T-bone, look at this bumper versus the big bumper. You know, shock caps that don't blow off. Versus shock caps that blow off, that are plastic. Good body mounts, cheap body mounts. I mean, you know, it's one of those things. This thing drives amazing. This thing is fun to bash. It doesn't steer good. It's clumsy. It's a wild little coyote. This thing, tons of control. I love doing the build. I'm just trying to bring reality. I do love, and I did spend the money, and I'd spend it again. I like the way the RC is. It just needs upgrades. I saw a lot of people in the comments saying, yes, I'm going to build one. Yes, I'm going to build one. I got people telling me, you're turning people off because you're saying, you know, it's a $2,000 RC. By the time I'm done and get this to where I need it, that's where I feel it's going to be. People are saying I need M2C stuff. I need M2C chassis. So far, this RC is not new. It's been around, this platform's been around for a while. Everything that breaks on these things, people know about already. So when I see several comments of people recommending the same parts, I tend to believe it. Kind of like the shock caps and the diff cups. Do you need them right away? Well, I mean, if you don't send it off big jumps, you don't. It'll probably last. This RC is leaning to one side because it's blowing out. So chassis wise, Arma's got the rear wing. I added the T-bone bumper and wheelie bar to simulate the wing and wheelie bar on the Arma. Arma's chassis a lot wider than the TEKNO chassis. That's where I'm saying, that's why they call this thing a a 1/10 because it's just 10th the size of a monster truck. That's it. But it is about the same size as Arrma's A-scale line. Now, is Arrma's A-scale line truly an A-scale RC? It's to be debated. This is a debate that's been going on for a while now. So I don't know. What I do know is that because these pivot balls are so strong, they can run these 6S tires, no problem, less breakages, less worries on plastic shock caps. But as you found, even with the 4S backflips, you can still blow out a shock. But there we go. That's going to end this video. Just wanted to bring some light to this. Get out there, bash it, build it. I think everybody should build a kit. For me, I'm not going to continue buying kits and building them. I'll build them when I really want to run that RC. This was more of a principal build for me because you guys haven't seen me build a kit on my channel. So I built the kit. I ran the kit. It kind of survived. Definitely needs some repairs and upgrades now. But for sending RCs and sending them off big jumps, I'm still going to buy $600 RCs that aren't going to hurt my pocketbook. If I want to bash around in my front yard, then I'm going to buy a TEKNO. You know, something with great steering. If I'm going to race some buddies on some flat dirt, I'm going to buy me a TEKNO. If I'm going to send it off a big jump, I'm going to buy me an Arrma or an X-Max or something of that nature for the same amount of money I have into this. There we go, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. That's going to end this series. I will show fixing this thing, getting it put back together. But that's going to end the TEKNO series. Hope everybody enjoyed it. I know I did. I had a blast. Appreciate all the support, Deontay. Definitely needed a lot of the help on ordering some of these parts. But we'll catch you guys in my next video. 10th anniversary. I love that thing. I love this platform. Outcast 6S platform for me is a blast. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll catch you guys on my next video. Thanks for watching.